Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another tutorial for you. I'm currently working on my next cosplay, Jaina Proudmoore from World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth. Today I'm going to show you how to make the lace-up arm warmer sleeves for this cosplay. Just a disclaimer, like a lot of my fellow cosplayers, I am not technically trained in sewing, and I've mostly just taught myself over the years. With that in mind, this tutorial should be easy to follow regardless of your experience with sewing. The tools and materials you're going to need to do this will be a sewing machine or sewing needle and thread, straight edge ruler, a tape measure, pins, eyelet pliers, eyelets, I used 56 total, a pencil or other marking tool, muslin or mock-up fabric, a nice white fabric, a gold fabric for edging, corresponding colored threads, fabric scissors if you've got them, otherwise regular scissors will be okay, an iron, and optionally a little bit of super glue. You also want to pick up some cording to lace them up. I bought 4 yards and it ended up being just enough to also do the lacing for Jaina's top as well. So let's get started. Obviously we're going to start with measurements. I'm making my own simple pattern for this project, and really you don't need to search out a professional pattern for this because it's a very straightforward garment. You'll want to measure from mid-upper arm down to your wrist to find the length of the sleeve. Now we're measuring where the top of the sleeve will sit, so take a tape measure around the middle of your upper arm and record that. Go ahead and measure your wrist as well and record that number. For a seam allowance, we'll add a ½ inch to our measurements. Using cheap muslin or other mock-up fabric folded in half, I use these measurements to create a mock-up for my actual sleeve. You can drape this fabric on your arm and make any minor alterations to the shape of the pattern in order to fit more snugly to any curves of your arm by marking them off with a pencil and trimming the excess fabric. Remember to leave seam allowance, but it's okay to have a little gap between the pieces where the lacing will go. Once you have a pattern that you're happy with, let's move on to transferring this to our project fabric. I chose a white Amaretto linen look fabric from Joanne. Before starting any sewing project, you should wash your fabric, which I've already done. I think that pre-washing any washing machine safe fabrics you buy is important in order to reduce shrinkage, especially with fabrics made from cotton, as they're most prone to shrink in the wash. I'm not using cotton today, but I pre-washed anyways. I bought a lot of this fabric because I'm using it for other parts of my Jaina cosplay. I cut off a little less than 2/3 of a yard for these sleeves. After washing, be sure to iron your fabric to get out any wrinkles and ensure you're working with pristine, flat surface. Now transfer your pattern onto your fabric 4 times. If you choose to do so, you could have a lining fabric for the inside instead of using the same fabric. Personally, I decided to use the same fabric on both the inside and outside. With your pattern transferred, you can now cut out the pieces. I pinned both pieces together to eliminate any slippage while cutting. Take one of your sleeves and flip the fabric over so that the front sides are together. We're going to stitch the outside and top edges together. Now turn the fabric inside out, making sure to push the fabric out where there's stitching at the corners. We're also going to press the seams with our iron. So I picked up these eyelet pliers and several packs of large eyelets. Links are in the description. This garment has a total of 56 eyelets on the arm warmers. That's 28 per sleeve and 14 per side. I lined up the eyelets where I wanted them to sit, and with a pen, I marked where I was going to punch each hole. The pliers come with pieces for both small eyelets and large ones, but we're using large eyelets, so I installed the corresponding pieces into the pliers. Now I'm just going to line up the tool with the punch marks and put holes where I need them. Alright, with all of my holes in place, it's time to pop those eyelets in. For our gold trim, I'm using a gold pleather from Jaina. Although the 4-way stretch of the fabric may not be the most accurate choice for the piece, it is the perfect color and level of shine for this, so that's why I chose it. We want a trim that extends about 3/4 of an inch, so we're going to cut a strip of fabric that is the length of the bottom of the sleeve, plus a 1/2 inch seam allowance. The width of the strip will be 2 inches. That will make it so that it has a 3/4 inch width when finished, because we're going to fold this over and then have the extra 1/2 inch seam allowance. The fabric was giving me quite a bit of trouble as far as slippage was concerned, and wasn't playing nice with my pins, so instead I super glued the edge down before sewing it. Problem solved! The reason I chose to glue this rather than stitch it down is because I did not want to have to double up stitching on the sleeve, and I couldn't get the fabric to stay perfectly in place how I wanted it to. After gluing, take one of your strips and fold it in half, with the right sides of the fabric facing together. Stitch along the outside edges so it's closed. Now you can flip your trim inside out and just sew it right onto your lace sleeves. After you've got your trim sewn on, all that's left to do is lace up your arm warmers with your chosen cording and you're all set. Thank you so much for checking out my tutorial on this part of Jaina Proudmoore's design. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like as it totally helps me grow my channel and reach more cosplayers. And subscribe for more cosplay content in the future.